Welcome to the Pool Nation podcast, where it's all pool talk. And we ain't talking about netting and jetting or splashing and dashing. We're talking about becoming a nation of pool pros. We talk about the latest products, trends, and training in the pool industry. Now let's welcome your host, with over a decade of industry insider experience and still the reigning champion of Marco Polo, Edgar De Jesus, and his co-host, John J.J. Flawless, the fastest netter in the West, and Zach the Pool Boy Nicholas.
Welcome, everyone, to the Pool Nation Live podcast. I am your host, Edgar De Jesus, and I'm champion of Marco Polo, along with John J.J. Flawless, the fastest netter in the West, and the famous Zach, the Pool Boy Nicholas. And yes, today we are in studio with the Cannonball King himself, Mr. Spider.
We're here. We've been practicing.
That's what I'm talking about. Hey, today we're excited to talk to Scott Frost, who recently joined Heritage after more than 30 years in the pool industry. Scott's career spans building pools, manufacturing, and now distribution, giving him probably one of the most complete perspectives in this industry. We're going to dive deep into his journey, his lessons learned, and leadership style, and more importantly, his vision for the future of Heritage. But before we do that, I want to welcome everyone to our live podcast, the podcast where it's all pool talk, and we ain't talking about netting and jetting or splashing and dashing. We're talking about becoming a nation of pool pros. And yes, we will talk about the latest products, trends, and trading in the pool industry. But before we get started, I want to thank our visionary partners for this podcast, the SPPA, Blu-ray XL, Aquastar Pool Products, Natural Chemistry, Raypack, Heritage Pool Supply, Hayward Pool Products, Poolside Tech, Pool Brain, and Knee Deck. We want to thank them for their continued support. Mr. JJ, what's going on? That was weird because normally it's good morning, Zach.
I know, it's already throwing me off. Where is Zach?
Zach is, okay.
Mountain man.
He's a mountain man.
It's season 5 or 6 now?
Season 5. But here's what happens. So anytime that one of us is missing from the podcast, we have to make fun of the person that's not here.
Easy to do, right?
So Zach is doing his yearly mountain man trip out, no reception, cabin with no water, no power. And so here's what we want everybody to do. So we always tease him that he's doing the Naked and Afraid episode.
Yes, that's season 5.
Season 5.
So Naked and Afraid.
So here's what I want everybody to do. The next time that you see Zach, you ask him how season 5 went on his Naked and
Hopefully
Afraid.
he gets picked.
Or you don't get the picture. You don't want to see that,
exactly,
right? No pictures.
That's true. I don't think we want him to get picked for it, but the determination is there for sure. And every single year, he's trying out for this Naked and Afraid show, and hopefully his dreams come true this year.
Exactly.
He doesn't make it, right?
Yeah, but it does. It does throw us off a little bit because we're creatures of habit,
Yeah.
right? And we've been doing this now, and how many episodes have we done in podcasts?
And I just said JJ good morning, and I thought I screwed it up.
Yeah, I was just going to congratulate you and say you did a great job
on the intro.
With the intro, you absolutely
Let's
did a
talk
great
about
job
it.
with the
It only
intro.
took me 5.5 years, Scott. I got it down.
Yeah, finally. Yeah,
Great job.
So how you doing, John?
I'm doing well. It's really nice to come out to Texas this time of year, especially because we're right at the cusp of where you guys are really starting to cool down, right?
Yeah.
And your temperature of 70, 80 degrees is like heaven to me because we're still in the hundreds over where we're at. So it was nice being able to fly over here and get a break from the heat because when we go back, we're going to start to cool down for the fall time. So I'm kind of excited about that. But in all reality, I'm really excited about this podcast. I had the pleasure to meet Scott at the women's event. And then yesterday when we were at the studio, we had a pretty amazing time. And it's always great to see top leaders, presidents of companies that you can have an honest and true conversation with, right? That actually get it. In my past, not just in the pool industry, but from where I came from before, I've had conversations with so many people in leadership positions as presidents, CEOs, and it just seems like they're so very out of touch with the industry. But it was a breath of fresh air yesterday having a good conversation with you and actually talking about the nitty-gritty and saying, wow, okay, you get it and you understand it. So I think today's podcast is going to be enlightening for all our listeners. And I think it's going to be exciting because we already know how much we appreciate and love Heritage for what they're doing for our industry and how they've come into it, disrupting it and trying to make a change in the way distribution is viewed amongst us all. And to see that Scott has come over to Heritage and embrace that same culture, and for you guys to listen and learn that it's more about not just talk, but it's walk along with it. So action is going to be followed, and
it's important.
It is very important. Yep. So excited to have you here. Thank you for taking the time. We know you're very busy.
Thank you for the opportunity.
And we appreciate it.
Scott, good morning.
Thank you, Edgar.
We're excited to have you here.
Thank you for the opportunity to be here and the first podcast. Bear with me along the way.
No
Guide me in the right direction.
No problem. I do have to tell you, our online is already completely blown up. So big couple shout outs out here. Jeanette, good morning. Happy Friday. Michaela, loved that intro. Ed, big shout out to you out there, brother. Appreciate you being on there. And then we've got Andrew. Hey, guys, excited for this episode. Maria, Donovan, good morning. Golden State Pools, what's going on, guys? Aquastar is on here as well. Todd, how's it going out there? Anibal, Sharper Image Pools out there. Nicole, Berry Blue Pools. Daniel, shout out. Antonio, AE Services, what's going on? Alex, all the way from Puerto Rico, listening. Big shout out to him. Aqua Dog, what's going on? Justin, big shout out to you. Gray Shark Pools, big shout out to you as well. Hey, got you registered. Can't wait to see you over at the PSP Expo conference. Yes. They came last year. They're coming back this year, so excited about that. Elise, OC Pool Solutions, what's going on? Big shout out to you guys. Gregory, Megan Hightower is out there as well, nominated for Pool Girl of the Year. Excited about that. Maria, good morning. Making Waves, Jeff, what's going on? MG, Brenton, what's going on, brother? Hey, John, you got to let me know if you're going up to the Pool Nation conference. Endless Summer Pool Care, and let's see here, your boy Daniel's on here as well. He's going, yo, yo, yo.
Daniel.
What's going on, brother? Will, big shout out to you out there. Pool Rangers, good afternoon to everybody out there in Florida. Big shout out to Mr. David Jones. Excited to have all of you guys on here today listening. And you got this, Scott, new to the podcast. Simon, big shout out to you out there. Tom is saying, hi, Scott. Got a lot of people listening in. Wow.
Fan base out there.
Yeah. Wow. We're gonna have
shout out to everybody.
Big old fan base out there, right? Damn. Hey, everybody. We're going to want to jump into this podcast here shortly. Let's get some of our housekeeping notes out of the way. Hey, October 22nd, we're going to be up at the PSP Expo. We have the $10,000 Pool Pro Challenge. The qualifiers will be on that first day. And then, John, from their finals are going to be day number 3, which is Friday at the booth. So the top 3 will have to go into the final championship. They're going to have to completely set up a pad, right?
Yes.
You're keeping that in your sleeve a little bit.
We're not letting the cat out of the bag
By the way,
but
this is John's baby, so he's not even wanting to share with me, you know, a lot of the stuff. And I'm like, come on, bro. And he's like, nope.
I've got it in my head now as the American gladiator of pools.
There you go. That's what we're talking about. I like that.
Cool. I remember that. I think we're dating ourselves
we
too,
are.
though.
Yeah.
I went with Ninja Warrior last
People are
week.
like,
That's
what?
Yeah. I think the younger generation would be Wipeout.
Maybe, or like Ninja Warrior.
Ninja Warrior.
Ninja
There
Warrior.
you go. There you go. Ninja Warrior.
You'll be jousting with pool poles.
By the way, that was Scott's idea, everybody. So when you guys see that happen out there, those broken ribs, that was Scott's idea with the jousting.
Yeah.
So anyways, we then have on the night of the 23rd, we've got the Pool Nation Awards. Really looking forward to that. And we're going to do the awards at the convention center. And it is confirmed the Hassa after party is going to be at the Alley Lounge 66 on the Conrad Hotel, 66th floor, looking out towards the strip. It's going to be epic. If you haven't, go out there, go to poolnationawards.com, get your tickets, get out there. Big congratulations to everybody that's been nominated. And we have a couple podcasts coming up with all the people that have been nominated. We've got the 2 for the 30 under 40s. Every week when we do the Instagram Live, we're bringing on a lot of the people that have been nominated. So jump on those Instagram Lives and get out there. And then the 24th, the 24th and the 25th is the Pool Nation Conference.
Yeah, post-conference.
Post-conference.
Yep.
So we got a lot going on at the PSP Expo, but we're definitely looking forward to it. Blake Clift is giving you a shout out over here. Great to see you, Scott.
Happy to be here. Thanks, Blake.
Awesome. Our boy Zach is listening.
Uh-oh.
He's supposed to be in the mountains up with no reception.
He has his on satellite phone.
He's probably in some hotel somewhere, and he's saying that because I've never seen any pictures of him, actually, now that we think about it. Have you seen pictures of him hunting?
I don't think we want to see pictures of him all naked and afraid.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true.
That's true. So, and by the way, they're asking Janie if you're in the boo chair today.
Boo.
Exactly.
Anyways, we're excited. We've got a lot of stuff going on. Hey, go to poolnation.com. You can check out all the schedule on there. Go to poolnationawards.com if you have not voted, which, by the way, Scott, the votes this year have gone through the roof.
I've already voted.
You've already voted. There's
last count was like 67,000 total.
68,000 votes have been casted so far. So that's crazy. But this year, what I've seen a lot of is just everybody on social media. Every time I lift,
That's what I was
going to
jump in and say. It's just like people are truly embracing it and going out there and asking for the vote and selling themselves out there.
Good.
So it's good to watch.
Reach out to your other peeps
it
and
really
hey,
is.
get
Absolutely.
out there.
Yeah.
So Megan is saying he doesn't want to show anyone his hunting spot. That's why he's not sharing pictures.
Probably.
Yeah.
You
So
can, you can track him on his iPhone.
yeah.
Yes.
So anyways, let's get started today. We're excited to talk to Scott. And Scott, you've been in the industry for a very long time, and we're going to do a deep dive. And when we were thinking about it yesterday, it's like, man, he's had his toe in every part of the industry,
Yes.
which is exciting.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of perspective. There's a lot of questions that are going to be coming there. But before we get started, let's talk a little bit about you, but let's talk about your personal side. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Personal side, I have a great set of children. Start with primary part of my personal side. My wife, Susie, married to her for, I think we debate how many years, but around 24 years. And I have two sets of children.
You should always say a couple extra just in case.
Oh,
just to
yeah.
play it safe.
We both didn't know exactly. Our anniversary was like a couple months ago, and we both debated on how long we'd been married. But I've got another set, an older set. So I have a daughter that's 42 years old that is a headhunter for Cisco. And I have a son that's 36 with a granddaughter. Son is a editor-producer in the film industry. And then I got two younger ones, a 19-year-old and University of Florida. So I know we go, depending on they're not a great football team this year.
Yeah. Freshman?
He's a sophomore
Okay.
now, and he's a musician. So he's into music. He plays for the UF Orchestra and going into another guitar gig here shortly. And then I got my 17-year-old, which is he's our disruptor, but he's a great kid. He's a junior in high school right now in West Palm Beach and getting ready to launch his path into college here shortly.
Yeah. Does he know where he wants to go?
No, he
Not
doesn't.
yet.
Yeah. You know how it is. I told him just, experience. Even in my college, my 19-year-old, just experience the time. You're going to learn. You're going to meet people, network. It's key to how you grow in your life. On the personal side, it's I look at 32 years in working here at Fluidra and now at Heritage. But really on the personal side, it was the things that we do, we have fun at. We've done a lot of time interacting with customers for many years. But on the day-to-day, my weekends would entail probably Sunday on a boat fishing.
Nice.
We do a lot of fishing, not fishing, but we do a lot of fishing, not finding fish. But yeah, so do that on our weekends. And then also I fly and, just call it, you're in the ocean or you're in the air and you can clear your mind and then get ready for the next week of challenges.
Now, you're a pilot? You like to fly?
I am a pilot, yes. And that's my hobby besides boats.
Did not see that one coming, John.
I need to start fishing, and I need to get my pilot's license because I'm listening to Scott. And then yesterday too, when he was saying that he has a 42-year-old kid, and I'm like, God, he looks younger than I do. You know what I mean? And I'm like, how on earth?
Started early, yeah.
And I'm like, wow, I'm washed up, man. I'm bad. And then he's like, he has a 42-year-old son. You said, right?
No, 42-year-old daughter, 36.
Daughter. Yeah, who's the headhunter?
Yeah.
Right for Cisco.
Yeah.
And that's just like, okay, so I need to mimic that or mirror that. So Mama, we got to start fishing, and I got to get my license right so that I can.
Listen,
so I can age gracefully, or I can.
You can go fishing all you want, but
Fountain of
Mama,
Youth.
if he's gonna fly, let's put a life insurance policy on
he must
him.
be fishing in the Fountain
Yeah,
of
I'm gonna
Youth or
fight
something
that
like
one.
that. I don't know how he's doing, but good for you.
For me, those two, call it hobbies, are head clearing, right? You
I was
got to
gonna
balance
ask you.
out because traveling. I've traveled my whole life. I've done about 4 million miles in the commercial planes, which not the joyous event. So when I go up in my own small private plane with the windows open, it's sort of, hey, it's pretty cool to be up here. And it's also very technical, and that my original background was sort of the technical world when I started my career, not in the pool industry.
Yeah. So when you came out here now, did you bring your plane or no? You flew?
No, I wish
commercial?
I could because I had to go. I got to jump back on an American airliner to get back to South Florida.
Yeah, crazy. But 4 million miles.
Yeah.
Holy crap! He said that yesterday. I'm like, holy crap! I thought you were going to tell me, oh, I've flown about 1 million miles, but
Yeah,
4 million miles.
It's not something to brag about. I say this.
That's.
But
a
it's
lot of
probably like
mileage.
everything. Like once you've done it so much, it's not fun anymore.
Yeah,
Was it ever fun?
it was never.
Well,
Well,
at the beginning, the first couple times that you
maybe,
fly
yeah.
is cool.
I won't get into my career progression outside of the pool industry, but yes, I mean, it's a transportation. I'd like to have a transporter in the Star Trek days, so we'll eventually have that. But the goal is to get out there and get to your customer base and get face to face.
Right.
Where the world today is turning into too much digital. We're all talking on phones or texting and not seeing each other face to face. And whether you're in this industry or anything, it's really about people, right? And the only way you can get to people. Obviously, you can call them and text them, but you really need to see them to build the relationships that are long-lasting and important.
Yeah, there's an in-person thing that you just can't take away.
No.
It doesn't matter how much you Zoom and how much there's a magic there that in person.
Yeah,
For sure.
No matter how much the IT people or the people in the news talk about it, the importance is people, really, the human contact.
Yeah.
Scott, you spent more than 3 decades in the industry, like Edgar was talking about. What first drew you into the pool and spa world, and what's kept you passionate about it all these years?
It's a good one. So I would say most people on the phone or on the podcast today didn't say pool was where you're going to start your career or even thought about it. So how did I get chlorine in my blood? I was in my junior year and senior in high school. And when I graduated high school, I had a pool service route. My girlfriend at the time ended up being my first wife. Her dad was a pool builder and had a retail store and service. So he hired me and I cleaned pools. And for somebody in the latter stages of high school and really not knowing where they wanted to go, it's a great gig. I made a lot of money, very young. And that's where it got me working in the industry. Didn't appreciate it at the time. It was a job. And looking at that and reflecting backwards, saying, wow, I was a pool person. I could relate to going around cleaning. I had 100 customers on my route. And that was the beginning. But that was not where my passion lied. And I mentioned where my passion at that time was, and it was aviation. And then basically from that point, I was in my pool truck and saw a recruiting station for the Air Force, pulled in and signed up and joined the Air Force. So that got me into the aviation career. And that's what I thought I was going to be. And for many years, almost 10 years thereafter from graduating high school in the military and then commercial aviation, worked in the space and military area in aviation. And the economy really went south, late 80s, and we knew we had to do something. My wife, her father had retired from building pools and the retail and service company. And I said to him one day, we were just frustrated in the role that was going on. The economy is just taking aerospace up and down. It was not fun. And I said, we got to start a pool company. So we started a construction company in East Central Florida, in Vero Beach, Florida, or Sebastian, Florida. And that's where I really got into the industry and started learning. And he was a great teacher about what we're doing. We were building swimming pools, and he was a highly regarded contractor in South Florida and had retired, and we spooled it back up. And we had a lot of family members in the business, and it was a great learning experience. But about in the early 90s, it was just time for me to change roles and leave the family business. And a friend of mine worked for Jandy at the time, very small company, Mark Barnes. And I called him up and I said, hey, Mark, I need help. I've got a technical problem. He took care of that. And I said, I need a job. And he said, you're hired. On the spot, Monday morning. And I started as a service tech in Florida. And basically, as the company evolved, I grew up at the company. The company was a very small company, Jandy family owned out of Northern California. It led by Vance Gillette. That was the progression. And over time, as we either were bought or sold, private, public, expanded, I was able to learn all facets of the business and really be blessed to be a part of the organization through my whole career in the manufacturing side.
So what years were you building pools? Was that in the 80s?
We started in 89. So actually I was fixing airplanes at night and building pools in the daytime. You know, it was
cool.
The late 80s were a really tough time financially in the U.S. And basically it went from 89 to right about 92. And I was working for a government contractor as a civilian for Grumman Aircraft out of Melbourne. And basically the choice was go full-time building pools or go to Saudi Arabia and spend the next couple of years because the Gulf War had just broke out. And I wasn't in the service and had a young family. And I had that decision. And I said, listen, I'm going to probably just go full-time building pools. And again, at that point, the pool industry in 92 was in a rough spot. And we started the company in a rough spot. And it was a perilous first couple of years, just from a standpoint. That's what helps me have empathy for our customer base, our pros out there today. It's as an entrepreneur, it's tough. You know, paying your insurances, paying your bills, making sure everybody's taken care of, and then also actually building the pools and dealing with the consumer. Good learning experience in my 5, almost 6 years with the family construction company.
Now, did you guys also service pools, or were you guys just, I know you service pools, but at this stage?
We were building pools. I started a small service. The pools that we built, because you built trust with the consumers, we would peel those off and then service the pools, start them up, service them, and then eventually sell those routes off to another couple friends of mine that were in the area.
Gotcha. So.
Yeah, Florida must have been obviously a pretty busy market, but a pretty tough market too, right? A lot of competition.
Yeah, a lot of competition in Florida. And we were in the central part of Florida on the coast. It was quality. That's where I learned from my father-in-law. Was basically, hey, it's about quality, taking care of the customer, building the trust, and doing what you say you're going to do, right? The simple stuff that not everybody adhere to when you're competing out there. You have your great companies, you have your ones that are not living that, what I call that trust value.
In your 30 years, you've seen a lot of the cycles that we talk about when it comes to the economy.
There's some fun ones.
Yeah, and so looking at some of those, and especially all the way back to when the Gulf War was, I remember those days, unfortunately. But yeah, you see those big peaks and valleys. Does it give you a lot of perspective now moving forward, knowing, hey, these are going to be the cycles. These are some of the things that we could do in those downturns?
Yeah. I think the most, like initially, I didn't appreciate it. Starting a company from nothing, actually, we had debt. We owed distributors money when we started because the old company had closed down in a different part of the state and then we opened back up. So we had to pay off the bills and started very low capitalization, which I reflect now, that really put us in the trick box to start the business. The most probably impactful for me was the crash of 2008, 2009. So if you look at the company that I work for, is that in our manufacturing as a whole, or builders or service, doesn't matter. That's less to the extent of service. And when the housing crash happened, it was
Bad.
It was catastrophic.
That was
I think
bad.
the service trade definitely had a little bit at an advantage of more sustainability because people aren't going to let the pools go green, or they're not going to replace their pumps, those type of things. But the one thing that stood out for me was at the time, everybody retracted to worry about themselves. Whether you're a public company, you're a private, you're an entrepreneur, I got to take care of myself. Human instinct, right?
Self-preservation.
Self-preservation.
Yeah.
And that behavior from a business standpoint really stood out for me, is that we did that initially. It basically take care of yourself. We got to take care of the company. You got to survive. But in turn, you can't forget about your customers, because a lot of times companies will be selfish instead of thinking about the customer. So that stood out, as that, hey, listen, we didn't take care of our customers. They were having the same pain points as we were. We were a large corporation owned by private equity. These were mom and pop companies that were trying to put food on the table. So I think that piece stands out, is that you have to put your customer in front and center, making sure no matter if it's painful for yourself as a business, if you don't put your customer front and center, they're not going to be with you long term.
So we've all had individuals that leave a lasting mark on us personally or career-wise. Who comes to mind for you, Scott, and what impact have they had in your life and your path?
Yeah,
in
I think
the pool industry?
there's two people come to mind. My mom will give me a hard time, but it's my dad first, right? Set what I call my morality or moral compass, North Star, however you want to put it. People, be kind, be humble, be selfless. That was my father's constant instilling in myself and my brothers. The business, so I call my dad, right? But I had a business dad. I had two, actually. One was Vance Gillette. And Vance, most won't know him. He passed away this past August, but spent almost 50 years in the industry to look at things differently. And most in the manufacturing world were worried about how great their equipment was, and they would talk about those things. Vance looked at it as saying, hey, we're in the best industry of the world. And I always tell the story because I was with him on a plane. Somebody asked him what he does. He goes, I'm in the entertainment industry. And they look, oh, wow, you make movies? And he goes, no, I'm in the backyard entertainment industry. He was a character for those of us that got a chance to be blessed to be around him, is that he looked at it differently. I call it like if Seinfeld, it's a George Costanza, go the opposite direction. If everybody's going that way, you go the other way. And to look at what we are doing in our industry, even though it's tough, right? Your consumers are tough. You have challenges in the projects. You're building paradise in people's backyard. We don't have enough of it out there. So that's what Vance really instilled in us up front, is that the team that was mentored by him was look at it differently. Yes, we happen to be manufacturers of things, but you're providing solutions, right? Consumers don't want pool equipment, or they want the beautiful experience in the backyard. They don't want a heater, they want hot water. Or they don't want automation, they want convenience. So just trying to look at the things differently. And the most important thing, put your customer first and listen. Because a lot of times we don't listen because we think, hey, we know everything. We've all, I've got 30 plus years experience in the industry. I don't know everything. I'm learning every day. And I think keeping that open mind. That was Vance. And Vance, I spent more time with Vance in the time that I worked with him than on my own family, because it was something that we were there. It's work, right? You're there. And the other piece is we had a lot of fun. We were always cracking up and making jokes and doing crazy stuff. So
Having a good time, right?
having a good time, have fun. I mean, I think it's we'll talk about it in a little bit, but yeah, having fun is key important, and always putting the people that are your customers first, your people first, before yourself.
Absolutely. I think that's a great point. As an industry, we've probably gone a little bit away from that, right? From the talking of the backyard and the memories and all that kind of stuff. Because you really think about it. Obviously, your kids are bigger. They don't use the pool anymore. But as a kid, what do you remember? You remember the times that you went swimming. You remember the times that you spent the summers in the pool. And there's things that to me are very vivid. Me learning how to swim and going to jump off of a diving board and cheating and jumping over towards the edge because I was afraid to go kind of into the center of it, right?
Yeah.
But I think as an industry, it's so true. We've moved away from that, and everything is talking about the latest product, talking about how my product is better than yours, talking about it's true. At the end of the day, the customer doesn't go, I just built this $100,000 pool and I have X heater installed. Like, They don't
And,
care.
and our customers are the pros, right? They're the
Right.
ones, the experts that take care of the consumers. And I would always ask this question. I say, ask somebody in the space, how often do you use your pool? And the typical feedback is what you just said. Yeah, I don't swim very often. Maybe I have a spa. Yeah, I use my spa. My comment is you use your pool every day. Because if the pool wasn't there, you would be looking at a blank palette of grass. Instead, you've got this beautiful architectural feature with water and all those other things. You've seen the industry grow. That I look out my window now in my backyard, and I've got this cool water feature and pool. And yeah, we use the pool not as much as just looking at it every single day. And instead of just being a bunch of grass, you got a water.
Yeah, look, I agree 1,000,000%. And sometimes people look at me like I'm a weirdo when I get passionate about how important our job is in the backyard and what our duty is when we're servicing. And not only are we there for safety, right, but to provide and to help create these memories for generations to come. We are solely responsible for every single backyard that we go to, right? And the experience that homeowner gets to have with that body of water back there. And if it's a positive experience and that translates from the husband to the children and from the children to the grandchildren, right? Because they get to see that. And if the backyard experience or the pool was a terrible experience, then chances are that family that grew up in that home, probably when they're buying a house, they're not going to want to buy a house with a pool or to have a pool in their backyard because they can't correlate it with the memorable experience.
And that's the thing is that if you take away those pain points, whether it's servicing the pool or building the pool or innovative products, the consumer, they don't want problems. They just want to enjoy.
Exactly.
They want to enjoy. And I think that's the missing piece sometimes in the industry. We just get too, what I call wrapped around the axle about some technical things, which are important. We'll never take that aside. But ultimately,
we help facilitate this experience for them, right?
Right.
You know what I mean?
100%.
We're the facilitators of that.
Absolutely.
And that's how important our job is. And we have a lasting impact on our industry generations to come. And we touched on it yesterday a little bit as far as like COVID. I think COVID, in some ways, the silver linings behind it is, I think as a generation, we got away from the backyard experience. And because of the internet and because of everything else that kind of goes in just a new age and the way kids are living in the digital world. But COVID forced us all to stay home and bring back almost that family life and then be able to experience what we experience as children, right? We were next to our homes or we were with friends or close relatives and we didn't really venture off much and we got to experience our backyard and use our imagination. And that's why we had this huge boom where people had the staycation instead of the vacation, right? So I think we reignited that or rekindle that fire, that flame. And it's our duty and our job as professionals in this industry to help push that forward.
Continue that message.
Continue
But
that.
it's like, it's grassroots. You think about it I go back to Vance's, and I told you last night about it, is we would go to presentations and he would have a presentation called Pools Are Everywhere. People think we were out of our minds. It was pictures of advertisements of the Marriott Hotel, but they didn't show the hotel room. They showed the pool. Or it was Absolute Vodka. They showed people in a pool. And you can just look around you, just open your eyes. Consumers are seeing this all the time, right? So they're on their vacations. They're in a resort. What's the feature of the resort? A pool. And so when they go home, wow, I could have that. And we can provide that and facilitate it to be in their backyard and they can experience it every day instead of, you heard it, the RV and the boating industry and vacations. That's the dollars we're vying for. That's been talked about for many years. So it's our job to get more bodies of water in the ground, make it fun for them, and then also we're the fiduciary to take care of those projects. I think that's the key to success of the industry. The customers already engage with our product. How do we get them to put it in their own backyard?
Sure.
Yeah. I think as an industry, we really need to refocus on that and make that a big point of focus. Hey, before we continue, I do want to jump in here because we do have a couple people jumping on here, and I don't want to forget about them.
Don't forget to shout out.
Because then they get angry at me when I forget about them. So Rachel is saying the pool industry has a way of pooling you back into the
Pooling
industry.
me back in.
I
That's
like
great.
that, Rachel. And then you have Tom here, proud to say that I worked for Scott earlier in both of our careers. Always enjoyed his insight.
Thank you, Tom.
On the insight. I would try to pronounce his last name, but here's what I would do is I would completely botch that.
Tom Perugini. How you doing, Tom?
Tom Perugini, there you go. I would have been like Perugini something. Hey, sorry about that, Tom. Big shout out to you. Michaela, Backyard Entertainment, love that. Pools are everywhere. Spot on, Scott. And then I have Gary over here. I've always run my business as customer first, employees, vendors, and then me. And then Ed is saying, whenever I'm dealing with a customer, they are always first, whether I have the product or not, I will get it for them.
And whether they're right or wrong, right? So
Right.
That's the tough one sometimes.
Exactly. So let me give a couple shout outs here and then we will continue. Hey, Barstow Pools is on here, nominated Retailer of the Year. Big shout out to you guys out there in Barstow. Kevin, what's going on? Duran, Jen, how are you? Maggie, big shout out to you. Premier Pools and Spas, Los Angeles, what's going on? Mr. Pool Envy, what's going on? Vac Bad, Josh Sprayer, Vision Pools, big shout out to you guys. Chandra, that pool guy. Victor's listening too. Big shout out to Victor out there. And then we have our boy, we were just talking about him last night, Mr. Matt Mann, 24/7. What's going on? We just talked about you last night at
What's
dinner.
up, Maddie?
Big shout out to you out there. So let's continue, Scott. 32 years is a long time to be in one industry.
Actually, it's about 37 if I count
37.
my construction, and
Your
then,
construction.
then another couple years in high school. So let's say 39.
Yeah.
Rounding.
So that's a long time. But the beautiful part of it and the thing that I love is just you've been in all these different verticals, right? Just that perfect overall. So, I'd love for some of our listeners to hear more, to reflect on your career, reflect on all those years, and maybe what were some of the key lessons that really shaped you to lead the way that you do today?
Yeah. So I think, again, early in my career, it was by having a construction and service background, it opened doors, right? You felt the same pain as they did when the economy wasn't doing well. You basically, tough Friday, you wake up and you got to go collect all your payments from your contractors, and they would say, oh, it's going to be there on Monday. And so you had that you could have empathy for the customer. So I think the important piece was listening. That helped me, listening to the customers, making sure that I'm hearing what their needs are. In that time frame, I was in manufacturing, and what could we do to provide solutions to help your business. And the people that have been around me for many years have heard me say this many times, is that when I show up, no matter what I'm doing, when I'm showing up to a customer, I have the imaginary piggy bank on the desk. And my job as a customer support person is to go out there and add value, put money in the piggy bank to make sure that, hey, we're here not just to sell you something. Nobody wants to be sold anything, right? They want solutions and just giving value. What can I do to help you today? And I go back to, I would say, what stood out through all those years and all the different roles that I held in my past and current life in business. It was about being a servant leader. What can I do for you? Not what can I do for myself? Like what I say, I'm going to sell you something. That's what I'm trying to get something for myself, a commission, let's say, versus what can I do for you, Mr. or Mrs. Pool servicer, retailer, builder? What can I do for you to help your business, help your life? Because we're in an industry that is mom and pop, as I mentioned. So that value add, if you're doing anything, when you're getting up in the morning, it's not just what I call throwing business cards out the window and let it see where they land. It's basically, what can I do to add value to the relationship? And people gravitate to people who are genuine, they can trust you, and you help them. And that's what Vance always told us, instilled in me. My father the same way. I'll wash your car if you want me to wash your car. I'll go out there and do whatever you need me to help you. Picking up the phone. Half the battle is just communicating. There's a lot of technical things I did, but the most standout piece was just pick up the phone, listen to customers, solve problems, solutions. It's so simple. It's crazy because most people in the world are selfish.
Well, we're so transactional, especially we're like fed or force fed to believe where it needs to be a tit for tat, and I can only help you if you can help me.
Right.
And when you approach it that way, yeah, you might get short-term success, or you might be able to get what you want momentarily or at the beginning. But if you're trying to build true long-term value, it's done through relationships. You need to truly honor and care about somebody and want them to succeed in order for them to want to help you as well too. It's just human nature. It's just how it works.
And you could call it, like people will say, it could be like religion, but it's if you give, you will receive.
You will.
Right?
It's just
and
the way
thing
it
is,
works.
and you give unconditionally, and that's difficult.
Yeah,
Whether
without strings attached.
Whether it's business or personal. I look at my career in business, but it's all the same. Trying to do the same thing in my personal life, right? With your children, your family, you just give as much as you can. And yeah, those things, there's some bad breaks along the way. But I think in today's culture and all the craziness that's going on in our country today and the world, really, just be kind, try to help others. To me, it's so basic, but Most people are worried about themselves, and that's just human instincts.
Yeah. And I think a lot of the most lasting relationships that you end up having with people, especially because then they become loyal, is truly when you're just giving something and you don't need anything in return. And they say, what can I do for you? And it's like, well, nothing. Like, I don't need anything. And that's where that true relationship and that true bond is built.
For me, what I get out of it is just seeing them succeed.
Sure.
That's my payback. It's not some monetary payback. And yes, you transact. You have to transact. But that's a part of it. But transaction should be, you think about the world today, is that you want to get the transaction piece. That's a part of it. What I call its price of admission. I think the relationship is key. And I think as we go forward, whether it's this industry or others, relationships, people want to deal with people. They don't want to be left on hold talking to a bot on the phone.
Yeah, 100%. Looking back at your time at Fluidra, what are some of the experiences you carry with you today into your next chapter with Heritage?
I put it on a scale. It's two things. Customer, you put it front and center, even when it's painful for you as a business. Two is the team, right? Put the team in front of you. Make sure you, as a leader, people have titles. There's a lot of titles out there in the world today, right? Titles don't make you a leader. And I learned that really early on in life. I didn't know that I learned it, but I learned it in the military because I was forced to learn it. But the team comes first. If the team doesn't finish the finish line or whatever in the military, the team was taught, like, if your team members didn't survive, you didn't survive. The organization didn't survive. It's happening today in those young people that are supporting our country. That's real. I was in a civilian time frame, but we were training for that. But you got to take team and team first. So when I look at the scale, customers and team. If you don't put your customers first, right? You don't have the team, the scale will get out of balance. So you've got to really support the teams that you work with, hire the right people, hire ones that are going to take your job so that you can go out there and make sure that it's a great team of people are taking care of your customers.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And again, by the way, love everything about it. The companies that you look at out there and that you look that succeed do exactly right. Is exactly that. We sit there and we talk about Aquastar, right? What's one of their biggest things is the customer. There's this constant customer focus and trying to solve those pain points, right? And that in return just makes those companies great. And it's exactly what you're saying. The next thing is really building those teams and taking care of those people. Because if you take care of those employees or your team just as much as you do, they're going to want to get out into the battlefield the next day for you, and they're going to go out there and they're going to fight for you.
Well, they're the ones that are taking care of the customers. I mean, you have two customers, your internal and your external customers, right? And as a business owner, as a leader, whatever it may be, your team is important. And they're the ones that are front facing. They're the ones that are managing or that are taking care of the customer that we're all trying to get and take care of. And if they're not happy, then your customers aren't happy.
And the things working in small and large organizations is it starts with the leader. The leader can have a joke with my third business dad or my second business dad, but Dad Bruce Brooks, the past CEO of Fluidra. You could have value posters on the wall. You can make all these statements,
all the time, right?
And all that looks great. And I joke with him, still to this day, is that values have to be led, meaning that the CEO of the company or whatever your title is, the employees are watching you. And if you don't walk the talk, and I've seen this in real time, whereas the leader, oh, look, we'd talk about the values and all the things of the company, but they didn't do any of them. Yeah. They didn't live by the values themselves. So I think when you set values in your organization, I hire and I fire on values. No matter how great you are as an employee, if you don't follow the values of the organization, you're out. Yeah. And because that becomes a cancer in an organization. So that's a tough, from a leadership standpoint, to say, hey, this person produces, does a great job, brings sales in, but they don't hold the values. And you got to make a change. And it's tough. And I've watched it real time happen in business. And that's a takeaway for me was, as a leader, you better walk the talk. Don't be talking about all these things unless you're actually doing it, and people, because your employees are watching you and watching you closely. They're waiting for you to trip up.
Yeah.
And once you build that trust, then it's full steam ahead.
Yeah. 100%. Right. Yeah. And look, I've said this a million times, right? And I go, people work for people. They don't work for companies.
Or titles.
Or titles, right? And two people or one person or two people can have a completely different perception of what a company is or whether they like them or not based off of the people that are representing that company. You can go into one Heritage branch or you can go into one Pool Court branch or whatever it may be, and one client has a completely different experience, and then go maybe 2 miles down the road or 5 miles down the road, and one place to go, this is the greatest organization in the world and I love shopping here and I love being here. They're amazing. Right. I love the company. And then they go over to the next one and then they go, oh, this is the worst experience I've ever had. This must be the worst company in the world. But in reality, the leadership is the same, right? But it's the people that are driving that message.
Yeah. Once you unlock that,
Yeah.
once you unlock the employee's ability to make decisions and they hold the values of the organization, the thing just, I don't know how you say it, it just spreads.
It just comes together.
It comes together really
it does,
crazy.
For real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that piece is tough for a lot of organizations because you're managing your P&L, you're chasing your quarterly for the Wall Street analysts, you're doing all these things, and you think that's important. But ultimately, the most important thing is the employees and the customer. And if you do all that thing, your quarterly results are going to be okay. I know I'm talking to some people out there that go through this.
Yeah.
All those things will be okay. And when you leave your customers when things are tough, they're going to remember that.
Yeah.
They're going to remember that.
Yeah. It's really interesting because it's so hard over years to build a culture and to build those values and to have people buy into them and the company run with those values. But it's also very quick that it could all fall apart.
I've watched it happen real time.
And it's so hard to get back.
I've watched it happen real time, whereas you broke a relationship from,
It takes 10 years to build a relationship and only 1 millisecond to destroy it or your reputation, right?
And it's basically you've broken trust. It's like in personal, trust is the key factor. Personal, family, doesn't matter. Business, if you break that trust or it's perceived you break that trust, you're done.
Yeah.
And it's hard to get back.
Yeah. Especially you look at a company like Heritage, and it's different if everybody's coming into the same offices and you're always all working together. That's a different feel than now you've got a couple hundred branches all over the place and you have to reach all the way to the warehouse guy, all the way at the bottom. And it's like, how do you drive that culture all the way from there, all the way down there? And it just gets,
and that starts, we can go into that in a bit, but it's like, it starts at top.
Yeah.
If your CEO doesn't believe in that mission, then it will never happen. It'll be talked about. It'll be written up in analytic reports and different things. Yeah, they have this value system or they have
mission
this
statement.
By the way,
Awesome.
Customer first. I've heard that one. It's the most abused statement in the world today. But it really starts at the top. The top has to believe in customers and people.
Yeah.
And if they don't, it's just going to be another transactional company.
I tell you, for Heritage, I've been very impressed and I've been very vocal about it. And I was sharing with John and Zach after we did the PEP event in Van Nuys, because it's easy to see, right? You talk to corporate and they're driving that, and we do some events at Heritage. And I just absolutely love working with the team and Amber and everybody there because they want to make sure that my events are a success.
Right.
And it's true. They use Royal Catering and they always bring Antonio. And Antonio he wants to be part of the event. He just doesn't want to show up, do food and all that. And he's very vocal about it. He goes, we come here, they make me feel like I'm an employee of theirs when I'm not. I'm just a catering guy.
And think about that. In an organization that's started with SRS, with Dan Tinker and the team, think about a company that everybody in the organization thinks that way.
Yeah.
That all of a sudden you start, leadership starts it, acts it, walks the talk, and all of a sudden it just becomes...
It just spreads like wildfire.
Well, it's almost like a cult, right?
Yeah.
It's like the we care cult more, which is we care. And then you also go back to your values. You hire people with that kind of DNA traits, right? Because not everybody thinks that way. And I think that's the team and the culture you create. You learn along the way and you adapt. So I think that's the piece in values. Learn and adapt quick, right? Don't just say that's the way we did it for the last 30 years.
Yeah. And so for the team all the way at PEP, and so I always look at it and go, okay, how far does it trickle down?
It has to go down to the truck driver. I mean, it has to go down every interaction with the customer base. It's got to be all the way to the bottom.
And so we went there. So Nidec was there and they needed to set up a whole bunch of stuff and they had a pallet. They come over to me and they're like, hey, we need to go get the stuff to go set up for the hands-on event. And right there at the PEP branch, the warehouse guy that was filling the orders and loading it into the truck, he comes over to me and he goes, just tell me where you want it. And I'm like, no, we got it. Well, we'll help it. And he's like, no, just tell me where you want it. Leave them alone. I got it. He did 3 trips, tore up that entire pallet and brought all this stuff over to them and then turns around and goes, is there anything else that I can get you? And it's like, that was the day that I had the aha moment with you guys. And I'm firm believers in Heritage, but it's like, how do you get it all the way down to the bottom?
Right. And think about,
that was the moment.
You have Heritage, but all the companies that are listening out there today, what can you do extra that makes the experience that stands out in the consumer's mind? Like, wow, what they did that. And I'll use a couple stories. Just being an organization only almost 3 months now, I was at a branch in Florida and the customer called up and said, I'm missing a fitting and a piece of pipe. jumped in a car or his truck, threw in the pipe in the back and a couple fittings and drove it out to the job site. And it's simple, right? It's simple things. And we all get caught up in the day-to-day things we have to do. I got to answer all my emails. I got to do all these things, which are important, right? But just stepping out of the box and doing something different for your customer will make a difference. Be special. And there's books that I've read over the year. Purple Cow is one, where is that there's a bunch of cows out in the field and they're all black and white, those dairy cows out there. And there's that one purple cow. Be that purple cow. Be somebody different. Do something different. Do something special, not only for your family, your children, your wives, your significant others, and your customers. Do that special thing. Wake up thinking about what can I do to make a difference in somebody's life.
Absolutely. Hey, we're going to take a break here really quick, but let me come back over here to a couple people that are jumping on. So let's see here. Customer care isn't an add-on. It's the foundation. Agree with you 100%. I do have one question that was thrown in, so I'm going to read the question. Gary, we're going to try to get back to a question, and he has his own company. So his question is, how does the CEO actually stay in touch? My fear of becoming successful is, how do you stay in touch? And he said, I'm sure Jeff Bezos has no idea how many things are going on. So Gary, we're going to try to get back to that question here right after.
It's a good one, too.
After we come back. Yeah, that's absolutely. Over here, listening to the customers and hearing what their needs are is priceless. Go Scott. You just got to have the Go Scott. And then LinkedIn user, they don't say who it is. It's saying, doing great, Scott. Aquatica Pools, they're coming out from Florida out to the PSP Expo. They're going to the Pool Nation Awards out there. Pools are everywhere. Spot on, Scott. Let's see here. And then having experience in multiple areas of our industry really expands the perspective. Everybody out there, we're going to take a quick break. We will be right back.
Pool pros have specific needs when it comes to general liability insurance. The SPPA program has you covered. With 3 tailored and customizable general liability options, SPPA makes it easy for pool pros to feel secure. Find out more and get covered at thesppa.com. U.S. Motors Neptune Variable Speed Motor provides a versatile replacement solution for all your pool pump motor needs. This motor can communicate with pool control systems, provide low voltage options to work with time clocks, and can be installed as a standalone pump motor. The Neptune motor can be easily installed on existing pumps, upgrading them to a variable speed pump without the need for replumbing. Enjoy energy savings and quiet operation by installing a Neptune Variable Speed Motor today. For more information and to find your local distributor, visit usmotors.com/pool. Blu-ray XL is the power of minerals working for you. Reduce your overall chemical costs and labor up to 50% guaranteed. Whether you have 20 accounts or 20,000, Blu-ray XL's direct pricing and free shipping to the pool trade have you covered. Improving pool professionals' profit and work-life balance is what they do. Blu-ray XL, the real mineral purifier. Visit them at BluRayXL.com.
Blu-ray all day.
Aquastar's new pipeline cartridge filters, available in 2 sizes, deliver top-notch hydraulic efficiency along with best-in-class filtration performance, approaching that of DE filters. Uniquely designed, open pleat spacing means 100% of the media square footage is usable. And these claims are backed by NSF test results. Designed with the pro's time and comfort in mind, the patented double locking system improves safety and ease of access, making filter cleaners faster than ever before. Available now. Ask your supplier for pipeline filters today.
Natural Chemistry, a leader in specialty water care solutions for over 30 years, is proud to provide products that make pool service easier than ever before. Its unique enzyme formulations in Pro Series Pro Blend improve efficiency of your pool program while reducing frequency of filter cleaning and scum lines. Natural Chemistry is also well known for its wide variety of phosphate removal solutions that include a non-clouding formula in Phos-Free and extremely high-range removal with Pro Series Phos Remove or Phos Free Max. Save time, save money, save work with Pro Series products. Stop sacrificing durability or efficiency with the help of Raypak's new Avia HD models that utilize NITEC, their exclusive industry-first technology. NITEC heat exchanger technology is Raypak's latest solution to superior strength and maximum efficiency when it comes to residential pool heating. With 900% more nickel compared to copper nickel in critical surfaces, NITEC creates an ideal surface to protect against scale formation and erosion without compromising on Avia's 84% thermal efficiency. Learn more at raypack.com/NITEC. The next evolution in lighting is here. Universal Color Logic 2.0 from Hayward. The latest in pool and spa lighting was designed with you in mind, making installation a breeze. Upgrades include a detachable cord and first-of-a-kind adjustable lower catch to overcome variations in plaster thickness. As always, Universal Color Logic lights retrofit into virtually any in-ground pool or spa while delivering industry-leading, vibrant color. Visit hayward.com to discover more.
Everybody, welcome back to the Pool Nation Live podcast. Scott and I just disappeared, just thinking we didn't have to continue this podcast, you know. So 2 things. We are going to get back to Gary's question, and I would like everybody that is watching us, whether it's LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, if you are in your office and you are distracted and you just have this playing in the background and you're listening, what I would like for you guys to do is actually grab your devices, whether it's your computer or it's your phone or anything, and look at it, because I kind of want to share. So go ahead.
I'm just saying, this kind of threw me for a loop.
It really threw me for a loop.
Scott was like this, but for him to make us do this was like...
This was...
Yeah.
This was
coming.
This was a completely off the loop, and people were like, I want to get to know you guys. We need an icebreaker, and we need to do something different. And this is something that I use at every level of the meeting. So, Spider, can you play the video of what he made us do yesterday with regards to doing an icebreaker with him?
Yeah, let's see.
Well, first thing, I can't dance. So there's not a chance. You talk to my wife about that one.
So I did not know that you have all those dance moves in you, Scott.
Yeah, I was born in Puerto Rico, so that's my heritage.
That's your heritage right there. So we figured we'd have a little bit of fun with you, you know. Yeah, just to let you know, I'm sitting there yesterday doing, and John and Zach probably know. They're like, oh my God, Edgar's bored to hell because he's sitting.
He's playing
he's just sending us these random videos. And I'm like, you know what? We're going to have some fun with Scott tomorrow. So
love it. Thank you,
I did send it to the Heritage team, just to let you know.
Oh, yeah.
So it's probably going through all the internals right now, kind of being spread out to everybody out there. So anyways, I appreciate that. So another question here, now all of a sudden here starts questions coming in. So by the way, people are saying, oh my God, that's awesome. People are starting to laugh on this one. But we're going to get to that question here, Kevin. So Kevin asked, can you have Scott explain building the most positive force in the industry? What does that mean to him and his team? And yes, we're definitely going to get into that next here with regards to the conversation. But a couple shout outs out there to everybody that's on there. Every Child is Swimmer, Only Pools. So let's ask really quick. So Gary's starting up his company, and he's actually starting to do really well. So how does a CEO actually stay in touch? That's my fear of becoming successful. How do you stay in touch? I'm sure Jeff Bezos has no idea that many things are going on.
Absolutely. It's impossible to get to everybody, right? And especially as organizations grow. The key, and I would say something that I learned in my career, was number one, create your mission vision, what your business is about. Then set your values, whatever your value statements are going to be, and really look at those, how you as a person operate, how you want to take care of your business and your customers and your team. Again, walk the talk, right? That's the beginning. And the most important piece is making sure you're hiring people that line with your values and traits, meaning they have to be of a servant heart. If you're going to be in the service business, not the service repair business, but in serving others, you have to have people that want to do that. And I think there's a lot of tools out there that when you're hiring people, making sure that they have the right traits, hire people that are going to take your job. Think about it. You might be just starting out your business and you're the CEO of your small business. Hire people that can potentially take your role. Don't be afraid of hiring people that can take your job, because if you hire people that can take your job, that means you can move up in an organization, or potentially as an entrepreneur owner, you could maybe sell that business off to those individuals and make them great too. I think the piece is it's really about your values, the people you hire, and ensuring that when you're not there, you've seen these things. The boss leaves and everybody goes nuts, right? Everybody does different things, but it should be the boss. It's not a boss. The boss is a partner, is part of the team, right? So the leader of an organization leads, and that's building trust, hiring the right people. I mean, building trust, and then trusting that they're going to do the role. And also, when things are not going well, right? Companies make mistakes, people make mistakes, is typically it's not like malicious, that you point it out and try to help correct them and help them learn. The other piece is make sure, I call it the trust but verify piece. You trust, but you set goals and you measure those goals and get out in the field. I think that's the key, is making sure you're out there periodically, temperature checking the customers, talking to people directly. Don't always just say you've got a great team, but ask the customers, just listen to them. Because I think whether you're depending on what industry or what part of the industry you're in, all you have to do ask. People will tell you if you're doing well, what you're doing well. And then people will also tell you, which I think is a gift, what you need to improve. And a lot of times people get, defensive when somebody says, you're not doing this right, or you did this, or you did that. I look at it as a gift. That's the way I can listen to the customer base and adapt the business to change to make sure that we're taking care. Now, one-offs, you'd have to, distinguish them. But I think from a CEO worried about that they're going to lose touch, everyone, you hire the right people, and those right people are the CEOs, meaning you've empowered them to be the CEO. They make decisions, they make calls. You can't be a micromanager. Micromanagers will never succeed.
Hey, Spider, can you cue up? I'm actually getting requests here on all this stuff to play the video again. I just want the record to reflect, John, that you were really grooving in that. I'm sitting over here going like this, like a robot, and you're like loose. John did send me a little clip of like my face on there, and he's like, who the hell is this guy? Because it like did not look like me. But
The one thing that really freaks me out is the shadows. They're too perfect.
It's AI.
that is true. That is true. But I tell you, Scott was having a great time.
No, he did.
We had fun.
Yeah, we did.
By the way, Scott was out of his comfort zone yesterday because we put him with
But
Ethan.
he was a good sport.
Yeah.
And he did really well.
And we already
And
got the pictures
came
back.
out
I
really
already
nice.
sent them over
Yeah.
to.
You happy with the pictures?
I did talk to my wife last night, and
Yeah.
I sent them to her because
Yeah.
I never like taking pictures. So thank you.
You're going to be in trouble now because now you're going to have to.
I'm
going to
have to do Christmas cards.
Yeah,
Now the Christmas cards, right?
Yeah.
I told her to airbrush me in.
Yep.
So, Scott, what attracted you most about the opportunity to join Heritage at this point in your career?
Bittersweet. You've been with an organization and team for many years and grew up with them and changing. I'm not at the end of my career, but I was in the tail end, spending almost 40 years in the industry. Number one, culture. For me, it would never compute. I had a great team that I work with. They've now taken the ball and they're going to do their thing in the future. But coming to Heritage, culture was number one. Is that I met Matt McDermott about 4 years ago after the acquisition of Davis Pipe, and he came to Florida, and we talked about what Heritage, or what SRS, now Heritage, was going to do. And I'm like, wow, that's pretty cool. And again, they looked at it differently. Both he and Dan looked at it differently. I never thought I would work for Heritage at the time 4 years ago, but the culture piece was unique. We're looking at it. They're looking at it differently, looking at it to make sure, hey, we're hiring a great team of people that are going to go out there and take care of customers. What's right? Price of admission. But we're looking at what I call the moonshot, right? Ultimately, this space, this industry, we have to help our customers grow. And that's through innovation, that's through digital tools, that's through all these things, because you have to give our customers time back, right? And the traditional ways of doing things are changing, right? There's a lot of disruption. There's a lot of things happening in the world today, or in industry today, that you have to adapt to. So I looked at the culture, number one, humility, empathy. When you talk to the team, and over the 4-year period of time, it was like, wow, they're changing and they're moving fast. And when Dan called me and Matt called me, and I was like, hey, I've never taken a call for a job before. And I said, I listened to you. And it was at a time in my career that I knew that I could hand the ball to the team that I worked with for many years. And it was just an opportunity for me. And there was a lot of things around traveling, and I was able to just stay here in the U.S. and really lean into an organization. It's fast. And I always joke with the team that I work with now is, it's impressive to see what you've created in a short amount of time, but what's the future opportunities? If you've done this in less than 3 years, it's 4 years, it's crazy, right? And the industry, and you think about the pool industry, right? It's a very small industry, but it's a fun industry. I don't know of another space that actually creates the fun it does. Working with an organization that's have fun, right? Some of the mantra at Heritage, have fun and give back. And that's another piece that, from my association with the National Association, the foundations with Step and Swim, is giving back. I've been blessed to be a part of an organization that's helped my family and put my 3 children through college and another one coming. You got to give back, right? And it's not only give back to the industry, but give back to the people, that the future swimmers of the world, making sure that we're doing the right thing. And the industry didn't always do a good job at that. Probably really when I saw some of the give back stuff that came from SRS and then Heritage, like, whoa, I haven't seen that before. And the same thing through the foundation stuff and swim. It started to change. We're starting to give back. And that's happened really in the last, I would say, less than 5 years.
Yeah.
Because prior to that, I was a part of the association. There wasn't a lot to give back. So I think by things, Pool Nation and other in the pool and hot tub and the step and the swim and all the things that are going on out there, people are starting to coalesce, right? Hey, wow, this is a good space. Let's start doing more things and helping our customers grow and I go back to the think of it differently.
Yeah. I was just going to say, I think one of the things with Heritage, and I've said this before, I mean, they've blown up in the last 3 years, but they've also changed the game in the pool industry. And for us, what's so important is not just the business, but how do we take care of the pool industry itself, right? Somebody has to make sure that we continue to make sure that this space continues to grow and continues to evolve. And so a lot of it is giving back to your customers. And for us, helping the pool pros be financially successful, right? Fixing that to help them to be able to grow. It's not about us going out there and making money. It's about helping them so that in turn, it can really help that industry altogether. And that's really been Heritage's mantra since they came in.
It's having to look at things differently, right? And I always say this, and we know e-commerce it could be considered very disruptive. The one thing that we know in our industry, you need the service pros. There's people that have to physically clean the pool. There's people that have to repair pools, build pools. All those things, that's part of the human factor here. It's not going to be replaced with robots or AI or other things. So that, to me, is that if you look at the space you're in, I always go back when people would ask you, what do you do? I'm in the pool industry, or I'm in the entertainment industry, as Vance would say. But you're in a special space that creates peace of mind, enjoyment, health, and wellness, just the litany of things. Your day-to-day, sometimes you'll get caught up in your work, the things you have to do, and I got to go repair this pool, and the customer's really a pain in the neck, or the pool got dirty, and they're calling me now. I think you just look at it as, hey, you're helping that customer provide solutions, and we have to lean in as an industry. And there's a lot of great companies in our industry and a lot of great people that do that. And less divisiveness would be better, because collectively we're in business. I would say this, we're in business not for number two. We're in business to be number one. And not only when you say number one is being the best solution provider, because being number one and being not the best, not really number one, right? Might be financially number one. So I think those are the pieces and go back to my listening mode is as things arise, as issues come up or challenges, young organization, we're going to listen and we're going to adapt and make sure that we learn from the feedback from our customers to do it right and do it better.
Yeah, you touched on how fast Heritage has been growing over the past few years. Where do you see the biggest opportunities for growth and evolution in the years to come?
Yeah, I think digital it's the buzzwords of the day. AI, digital. You saw our dancing. That wasn't really me up there. That was the robot.
Was it though?
What was it though?
I don't know. Maybe you never know.
I don't think so.
Yeah, you're going to have to dig in on that one. Did I really do it?
I just want you to know that the one that sent that video to us was your son.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah. So I think the future is, I say, give time back to our pros, so that they can do the physical work or the necessary work to be able to take care of the customers, the consumers, be able to work on their business to make their business better. So I think the investment that Heritage is making, I've never seen an organization put this kind of rocket fuel into an organization to provide the digital tools and that are here today and that are going to come in the future. And I would say to all customers, no matter how big or small you are, you need to lean into those digital pieces because it's not going to replace you. It's not going to replace the people, but it's going to make your life easier. It's being able to intake information, in some ways, do mundane tasks. They're done. So if you go into our Heritage Plus app, the idea is to do the mundane tasks of ordering, and it'll start getting smarter and smarter over time. It's not fully baked, a lot to come. And when it comes to digital and software, that's iterative. It's going to continue to grow. And I would say that's the area that I would say as a business person, making sure you're either taking classes, learning, go to all the industry sessions, learn about digital and what it can do to help you improve your business efficiency. And in turn, if you improve your business, you work on your business, it's going to create more wealth for you and your families.
Absolutely.
So if we fast forward 5 years from now, what moment or accomplishment you hope stands out the most when you look back at your time at Heritage?
It could be 10 years, and we're not
Or
saying just
10
5
years,
years
yeah.
now.
Well,
We're
they
not
don't,
saying
they don't
5
have.
years.
It depends on how many.
Well,
as I joke, when I-
3 year right?
when I-
Right, we don't-
Temp service.
Well, I would say this: as long as Matt and the team and Dan are going to have me here, right? So no, I think we're not playing for number 2. And I know that's maybe a little bit, a charged statement. The organization, we are not playing for number 2. We're here to be, as I mentioned, the best business solution provider to our professional trade, period. And I think we're going to learn, right? I've been here 2.5 months and things have come at me that have been some challenges. We're going to learn from that and we're going to listen to our customer base and be the best. I think the moonshot is, if you look at where Heritage is now and where it's going to be in the future, it's really being the best provider of services so that we're a distributor, right? There's manufacturers, there's distributors, and there's the pros that actually implement the things in the field with the consumer. What can we do to make your business better? We need more pools in the ground, right? So when I look back, that aspect of the business, not playing for number 2, then I look at my past life and current life here is how can I help mentor and develop the team? Things that I've learned. I don't want to sound like my dad, like, when I was back in the kid. So you've heard those. We've all heard that stuff.
But here you are.
Yeah, I know, right? And
Here we all are, right?
yeah, and I would say this, the learn and adapt trait. I'm a learn and adapt person, so I'm learning a lot here, right? But also there's some experiences I've had through my career in business that let's not make those same mistakes, right? So I think being the best solution provider in the distribution space for our customer base, our pros, and then also helping the team here at Heritage, anything I can do to help them not repeat past history and help develop a team of the next generation. The industry, I saw that at Women's Summit, I was like, wow, there's a lot of next gen women here. And then you look at the industry, look at Heritage, a lot of next gen people. This industry has not been one that cultivates people coming in. It's one that you happen, your family were in it. You worked at a summer job like myself in high school, and you eventually got into it through family. But I think that piece is that making sure that we're, through our MIT program, bringing in young people from college campuses to come into our industry, because it's a good industry, right? And I always joke when I go to my high school reunion still, doctors, lawyers, all this, pool guys, not a bad place to be. It's a really good space to be, and it's fun. And I have friends that are in the professions and in those that I just mentioned, and they always ask me, "Oh, Scott, you're doing this, you're traveling around." I'm like, "Yeah, how's your job?" I'm a lawyer, but it's a great industry. And I think that's, as I look at my personal impact, is how can I keep the message out there, get the word out there.
I just absolutely love this industry. It's a great industry. It's second to none. I do love seeing that younger generation coming into the industry. And I think not just us, but everybody that's listening out there, right? We need to continue to drive that vision of the industry for all these people to come into, because we want them to come in, but more importantly, we want them to stay.
Well, and it's, as the industry professionalizes more and more, it's adding, the people that are professionalized are listening right now. The ones that aren't listening are probably not as professional, or we need to help them learn that there's other avenues to become more professional.
Exactly. Look, times are changing and we want to get away from, and we preach this from the very beginning. It's like being a pool guy or a pool gal, right, isn't a bad thing.
Not at all.
There was a
It's a great
time.
thing.
There was a time where people shied away from, "Oh, you're just a pool guy," you know what I mean, or whatever. No, we're professionals out there, and we talk about this facilitating dreams and memories, right, and how important our jobs are when it comes down to safety and then protecting the investment. One of the most expensive investments a customer has in their backyard. And slowly but surely, I think the perception of who we are and what we do has changed dramatically, and it's moving in the right direction. And the more we do that, and the more people understand how important a role we play, not only in people's lives, and the work that we do is very important, more and more people will be drawn into our industry and will be able to grow and progress.
And I think of it, there's tools out there today that professionalize you, like CRMs and management tools, but also just dress for success, right? When you show up in the backyard, I know there's expenses to these things and uniforms and trucks and logos and all those things, but just think about the consumer and what they're experiencing every day in their lives, how they interact with other businesses. In my family's pool construction business, we had beat up trucks and we look like heck. And I'm like, hey, we can't look like that. As you grow, you decide where to invest. But I think about professionalism. People are dealing with professional people every day, your customer base. And to think about the industry itself, especially in today's world, the pools, they're hundreds of thousands of dollars. So you're dealing with I want to see more pools at the mid to lower level. That will change as the economy improves. But you're dealing with wealthy people that have expectations. And when that image is, or that trust is broken, they're going to go on to somebody else, or they're going to have a bad taste in their mouth. Oh yeah, that was the worst investment I ever made in my life, is contracting to have a pool, or that service company, or that cleaning company. So I think that the piece, professionalize your business. If anything you do and invest, is making sure that the business is professionalized. You're educating, you're investing in your people. That earlier question, invest in your people, training, get them to these events throughout the industry, because there's a ton of stuff where you can learn.
And the networking that goes on in all those events.
Correct.
It's huge. That's one of the biggest things ever. Hey, coming back over here, Blake, I cannot unsee that ever. They're watching our
Thank you.
videos. And then Fernando's going, Pitbull would be very proud of you, Scott.
Well, I've been to a Pitbull concert. I don't know.
Michael is saying, wow, Edgar. And then Jeanette is telling us to keep getting down, that they want to be able to see that. Scott has been a great leader and will do great at Heritage. My many years working with Scott were great.
Thank you.
So big shout out. Let me do a couple of shout outs over here. Our boy Justin, Pool Pro Magazine, what's going on? Mr. Lopez, what's going on? Cactus Pools, Luis, Sunrays Blue Wave, what's going on? Goalie, the Valley Pool Busters, what's going on? And Tech Vector, what's going on, brother? Big shout out to you out there, sponsor of the Pool Nation Awards.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah,
Appreciate
absolutely.
it.
Thanks for jumping on. And yes, for those that are sending the message, just send me a message and I will send you the video directly over to you, so you don't have to record it on the screen on there. So,
And
Let's talk-
also
yeah.
watch during the next commercial break.
watch during. Oh, there you go, Spider. You are the man. So Spider's prepping that up for the next commercial break. It looks like you might go on a loop.
Yep.
I think this is.
I'm dreading that.
This might be what you pull up into your next meeting, and your
Yeah.
team's just going to be playing that on their phones.
Thank you.
So appreciate that.
Much
So-
appreciated, Spider.
So let's talk a little bit about your leadership, and then I want to also move on to talk a little bit about the customer side. But if you were to look at your team and you had to say, I'm sure your team has their own thoughts of your leadership style, what would you say they would say that defines that?
Ooh, I'm just getting to know them, right? Yeah. I think if you think about just words that describe, for me, when I think about, number one is trust, right? I trust that I have your back, or vice versa, right? And collaboration, communication. I think that piece is having empathy for others, meaning that not everybody's the same, right? Not everybody has the same challenges in life, personal or professional, or opportunities. It's just for all those things. And just, I think just being a human being, and a lot of things you're going to hear are very repetitive because they go back to the core, how I believe is that you take care of those other people. And that selflessness piece is, sometimes I take on too many things. I say yes too many times, but you want to help. I think that piece is, I would say, if there's one word just they could describe, hopefully they'll be able to describe that in the future, is that being helpful.
Great dancer, too.
Great dancer,
Great
right?
dancer. That goes next, right?
Yeah, that goes next. But yeah, just being helpful, right?
Yeah.
And just and helping them in their careers, because ultimately we're trying to develop a generation of people that are going to
Sure.
that take over this company
next,
in the
yeah.
industry. And that piece is, and finding people and bringing people into the industry too.
Yeah.
Seek out friends, because it's a good space.
Yeah. And it takes a lot of time, effort, money to be able to bring all that younger generation into the industry.
Well, and
you
I
know.
think that's where, there's companies out there to do it. Heritage puts a lot of investment in the MIT program,
Yeah.
bringing in people from universities around the country.
Yeah.
I know I'll shout out to Dan, A&M, a lot of A&M folks in Texas and Oklahoma. I'll just go through our MIT list. But yeah, I think just as a company, a commitment as a company, because it's not inexpensive to do that,
Yeah.
is lean in and bringing people in that would never have chosen the pool industry.
Yeah.
Never chosen to be in this space. And that's an opportunity as an organization to do that. And that's something pretty cool.
So you've built pools, you've worked for a manufacturer, and now you're leading in distribution. How does that broad perspective shape the way you think about the customer experience?
Yeah, and I think we're going to go back and really talk about some of those things. I think the piece is that I understand pain points and experiencing them myself, whether it's a servicer or a contractor or a manufacturer, now a distributor. Those pain points are typically from our customer. You have your own business pain points you got to deal with in whatever you do, but understanding those pain points and trying to, as you're guiding an organization, to say, making sure you're bringing that customer back to front and center. And I think it was even like Bezos had it. We had it. When you're in your office, you're creating strategies or you're working on your business, put your imaginary customer. We had a flat customer and they were sitting in a seat. They took up a seat. You have to think about it because companies
Like a literal cardboard, you'd have
a flat customer, right? Because it was sitting there, it's a flat bob. We always joked about that, is that a lot of times you get caught up in your day to day. You lose sight of the customer for whatever reason. All companies do it. They go through evolution. So I think that piece is important, is that you really take that to heart when you're making decisions. How would that affect Flat Bob?
I love that.
It's
Flat Bob.
and the thing is that because that ultimately, if we looked at how that affects that in our side, the professional, how it affects them, how it impacts their livelihood, the ability to earn a living, to take care of their business. If you take that in mind, you're going to make different decisions sometimes. You're going to say, wow, not Flat Bob, but really our pool pros. It's that pool pro was sitting in that seat. They're not physically there, but then also go out there and ask them questions. It doesn't matter what part of our industry you're in. Talk to your customers, not just at trade shows. That's always for leadership. It's easy. Let's go to trade shows. We'll talk to customers. Yeah, that's great. But go visit them, right? And go into backyards. I think the one thing that taught me that I worked with a lot of people and never been in a backyard of a swimming pool.
That's
I'm like,
crazy.
it's crazy.
That's
right?
insane.
You're running an organization, never been in the backyard. You need to get out there. And I would also suggest is that depending on what part of the business you're in, ride with your customers. Spend a half a day with them and just listening to what they're dealing with. You'll gain a major perspective in business. And so I would say is that I got a chance to do those things. So I was blessed to be able to be in the seat, but also work with customers and spend time with them and listen to their day-to-day. What solution can I provide for you? And just being around, going on a pool sales call. I sold swimming pools, so I know what it is, challenge it is to sell a large project, but most don't. So getting into your customer's shoes going to make you better business support for them.
No, it does, and 1,000,000%. And I think back at some conversations that I've had and some people that like engineers for companies, right? That on a laboratory setting, everything is, supposed to work like this. This is exactly how
Been there, done that.
here's the calculation. This is how it works. No, it shouldn't do this or whatever. When you have that engineer that actually spends the time with you in the field and sees some of the variables or things that you just might not be privy to or don't understand, or you're ignorant to simply because you're not exposed to it. And you just don't get the real world implications of what's happening with the people with the boots on the ground and the light bulb that goes off and how products become so much better. We talk about Aquastar and we say some of the things and how the pipeline filter and the pump and the ozone and some of these products, how they've come to fruition, how they've been created is simply because, look, they've taken that information, they see that, and then they've done something about it, right? And they've created something because they see what we're experiencing. And when you apply that to leadership, like you're talking about, Scott, I think that's where you differentiate the difference between like good and great, right? That's where you really start to excel and you start to build those relationships and you're able to actually move the ball forward and then create that environment that you're looking for, right? Because you can sit on that pearly tower or whatever on your pedestal up there and you can think and pretend that you have a clue of what's really going on with the heartbeat of the industry. But if you don't experience it, you really have no clue.
And I think that piece is that you hit upon. I came out of the technical world in aviation and I repaired aircraft. And I would hear engineers tell me all the time. And I'm like, that's not what's happening.
Yeah.
Your book is great. And especially I came out of aviation, which had textbooks for everything. Everything was process. Come to this industry, there's no textbooks. There's experts, right?
Yeah.
But there's typically no textbooks. You have to learn along the way. So I think experiencing the pain points that your teams face, your customers face, and providing solutions. So ultimately, you're a solution provider. And everything you do day in, day out. And you can apply this to your personal life too. It's really the same thing.
Yeah.
Collaborate, talk, communicate.
Yeah.
Trust is number one, and it goes both ways. OC Pool Solutions, very true. Finding a quality service professional isn't always easy. The same goes for finding quality customers. Yes, that's absolutely true over on that side. And then we have Chris Golden is going, please send me the recording. Scott is great.
Yeah, thank you.
You're going to have to forgive it. So, by the way, everybody, if you guys see that Scott never talks to us again,
I don't think he is
I just
after
wanted
this,
to be
right?
right here. Spider, yep, if you could put the camera. If Scott never talks to us again, now we know why.
exactly,
You can pinpoint it. But hey, if that's the case, if he doesn't talk to us anymore, just let us know and we'll keep sending the video out.
Yeah. I'd rather have that in the social media blogosphere than anything negative, right? So, okay. No problem. All easy.
Joel Thompson, what's going on, brother? Out in San Francisco area, San Jose. Finally, PEP near me, place in San Jose. Love these guys. Such a family vibe going on there.
More coming at a branch near you. They will be there. And then we're going to continue to build out the network over the next few years.
Really excited about that.
Yeah.
So really excited.
That's, again, you asked earlier, why? Fun. It's fun going out there, blazing new trails and create more opportunities for team members to expand our organization and put new branches. You're going to see many more to come over the next couple of years. A lot of good stuff.
I have an idea.
Uh-oh.
No dancing.
I have an idea. So this is something that we never get to see. So we got to go out to Aquastar and we got to see behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And that really opened up a whole different
sure.
perspective. I think we should do a podcast and we should get together with the team to what it takes to actually open a branch. Because I think people think, oh, it opened up today.
I'm learning myself right now.
But there's a lot that goes on to be able to,
lot behind the scenes.
a lot behind the scenes. And I think that would open up a lot of perspective to a lot of the pool pros out there to understand what it takes.
I agree 1,000%. Sometimes as consumers, and we are as consumers, we forget what's involved, the heart, sweat, tears, you know what I mean? Pain, struggles that go into to be able to provide this for you. I think that would be awesome.
Because I think the perspective, and like we left with the same perspective, right? Sometimes we bitch about the prices of stuff, and then we saw what it takes to actually build it, and we're like, oh, okay, I get it.
And having that perspective, whether it's manufacturing and now distribution, is that if you think about it behind the scenes, all the manufacturers in our industry and the distributors, is that behind the scenes, they are thinking, they're working on things. How do we make your consumers' lives better, more convenient, easier to operate, so that it turns into the enjoyment? People are working tirelessly to make sure your businesses are effective.
Yeah.
And it's multifaceted. It's not just having a product or a distributor that supplies the product. It's all those things behind the scenes. And what's great, about the space is continues to elevate. Every day, more elevation and more innovation. That really is over the next 5 years. The innovative part of our industry is going to be key to success. It's also the people who adopt innovation will be the winners in the end, because they're the ones going to be able to provide the best experience for their customers, for the consumer customers.
So, John, we have a list of probably another 8 to 10 questions, and we are out of time. I know you had one question that you wanted to ask. I'm going to pitch that over to you. I'm throwing you for a loop, and you have no idea what I'm talking about. You talked about it yesterday.
It was the blank stare.
Yeah, he's like, you threw me under the bus.
No, you didn't throw me under the bus.
Luckily, the camera was only on me. It
Well,
didn't
the
flip
trick
over to you.
box.
Yeah.
There's actually quite a few different questions that I wanted to ask. And see, that's the problem with me. As I get older, you know what I mean? I come up with these great questions, or I think of something, and then if I don't act on it, or if I don't do something, it just goes away.
Right.
I told you, I'm that VHS tape, the old school VHS tape that just gets written over. I don't have many terabytes or petabytes or whatever you want to call it. I'm old school VHS, and I just kind of get ran.
You get ran over.
I get ran through.
You get those weird bleed through memories.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes, and I just think deja vu, or is this what's going on here?
We call it Groundhog Day.
Help me. Remind me, what was
what I want to say is that's true. That must be happening, because you used to tease me all the time. Ginkgo biloba, ginkgo biloba.
Oh, dude, I'm telling you,
and sometimes
man,
I tell you stories 2-3 times now, and you don't catch on.
I do. I just feel bad bringing it up, or maybe it's me forgetting again. I don't know.
Forgetting.
It's probably me forgetting. I have a very selective memory, and maybe it's because of my wife.
By the way, Scott, John and I probably talk like 14 times a day. And so,
At least.
And every one of my conversations starts with, did I already tell you this today?
Exactly. We're the same way.
Did I tell you this already today?
Well, you have to say it multiple times to sort of sinks in.
Yeah.
I call it the 9-time effect.
But I think John is just nice with me sometimes, and he's just like, no, you didn't say that. And I've probably said it like the 3rd time.
Well,
and he's just trying to build my confidence.
It's because it's when your kids finally start to act or say the things that you've been teaching them, or they start to experience and they go, I get why my mom or my dad did that. With you now, because I'm starting to experience some of those aging issues that you're having. I'm instead of me calling them
Help
out,
me out here, bro.
I feel bad, and I don't want to call it out because I know things are getting bad for me as well. So I think we'll just go through it together.
We'll just go through that. All right.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, let's take our final word from our sponsors. And when we come back, I'm going to remind you of the question, and then because we still need to
remember it.
We still need to get final thoughts. I want to get your final thoughts. I want to get Scott's final thoughts, and we're almost out of time. But for everybody that is listening, we are going to go to a commercial break. But Spider sent me a message and said, everybody watch the commercials. Focus on that part. So you're not going to want to just put this in the back of your brain while you're listening. Come and watch your screens right now.
Got more stuff too.
And then more coming. Take us out, Spider.
Back at 11.
Pool pros have specific needs when it comes to general liability insurance. The SPPA program has you covered. With 3 tailored and customizable general liability options, SPPA makes it easy for pool pros to feel secure. Find out more and get covered at thesppa.com. U.S. Motors Neptune Variable Speed Motor provides a versatile replacement solution for all your pool pump motor needs. This motor can communicate with pool control systems, provide low voltage options to work with time clocks, and can be installed as a standalone pump motor. The Neptune motor can be easily installed on existing pumps, upgrading them to a variable speed pump without the need for replumbing. Enjoy energy savings and quiet operation by installing a Neptune Variable Speed Motor today. For more information and to find your local distributor, visit usmotors.com/pool. Blu-ray XL is the power of minerals working for you. Reduce your overall chemical costs and labor up to 50% guaranteed. Whether you have 20 accounts or 20,000, Blu-ray XL's direct pricing and free shipping to the pool trade have you covered. Improving pool professionals' profit and work-life balance is what they do. Blu-ray XL, the real mineral purifier. Visit them at BluRayXL.com.
Blu-ray all day.
Aquastar's new pipeline cartridge filters, available in 2 sizes, deliver top-notch hydraulic efficiency along with best-in-class filtration performance, approaching that of DE filters. Uniquely designed, open pleat spacing means 100% of the media square footage is usable. And these claims are backed by NSF test results. Designed with the pro's time and comfort in mind, the patented double-locking system improves safety and ease of access, making filter cleaners faster than ever before. Available now. Ask your supplier for pipeline filters today.
Natural Chemistry, a leader in specialty water care solutions for over 30 years, is proud to provide products that make pool service easier than ever before. Its unique enzyme formulations in Pro Series Pro Blend improve efficiency of your pool program while reducing frequency of filter cleaning and scum lines. Natural Chemistry is also well known for its wide variety of phosphate removal solutions that include a non-clouding formula in Phos-Free and extremely high-range removal with Pro Series Phos Remove or Phos Free Max. Save time, save money, save work with Pro Series products. Stop sacrificing durability or efficiency with the help of Raypak's new Avia HD models that utilize NITEC, their exclusive industry-first technology. NITEC heat exchanger technology is Raypak's latest solution to superior strength and maximum efficiency when it comes to residential pool heating. With 900% more nickel compared to copper nickel in critical surfaces, NITEC creates an ideal surface to protect against scale formation and erosion without compromising on Avia's 84% thermal efficiency. Learn more at raypak.com/NITEC. The next evolution in lighting is here. Universal Color Logic 2.0 from Hayward. The latest in pool and spa lighting was designed with you in mind, making installation a breeze. Upgrades include a detachable cord and first-of-a-kind adjustable lower catch to overcome variations in plaster thickness. As always, Universal Color Logic lights retrofit into virtually any in-ground pool or spa while delivering industry-leading, vibrant color. Visit Hayward.com to discover more.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Pool Nation Live podcast. We are talking to Scott Frost from Heritage. So while we were on commercial, Maria, so Spider, thank you for that. That was awesome. So Spider put our dance in a loop move through the whole commercials.
It feels a little different when there's commercials and not music.
Yeah, that's true.
Probably
right?
a little weird.
Yeah, a little weird, right? But Maria was out there cleaning a pool, and she's like, I had to put my net down so that I could see it. And then she goes, my customers are looking at me, and she's laughing. What the hell's wrong with this lady? And she's like, should I share it? I go, so we could laugh together?
Sure.
I'm like, hell yeah. And then Maria's all like, my husband's looking at me on the other side of the pool like, what the hell's wrong with me? And then her husband's going, are you going to brush the pool? Or you're just going to sit there and laugh.
Right.
Barry Blue Pools, the secret dance move. So I just want everybody to know that Scott Frost will be up at the Pool Nation Awards. He will be up on stage, and he will be showing everybody those dance moves. Let's go. So
I don't know about that.
So here's what we're going to do. You know what? Here's what we're going to do. We're going to create a little side section. Whoever gets there at 6, we'll go in and we'll have Scott show us those dance movements. And then you know what we do? The whole crowd does the whole dance move.
It'll be the flat, Scott.
Yeah.
The flat. Bob's going to come and take your place. Anyways, great conversation today. Mr. JJ Flawless, Zach is not here, so you are first. Let's take some final thoughts.
I look back at kind of everything we talked about today on the podcast and our conversations yesterday, and There's one thing that you said that kind of really sticks out that I think really cemented and put in people's brains to understand heritage as a whole. And you nailed it right on the head. And you made a comment and you said, we're in this to be number one. And you also said, I know that might be a charged statement. I truly believe that is exactly what we need. We need more of that, right? There's no point in doing anything unless you plan on being the best. And I think for a while, our industry, and we've been in it for a while now, not too long, we're about pushing a decade personally, but there's a lot of complacency that tends to happen, and we fall victim to that. I think the road to change or innovation, competition starts to die out, and that's where we start to kind of lose as a whole. And heritage, and I use it again, has been a breath of fresh air. Your guys' attitude, your guys' motivation, and your drive to be the best at what you do is changing, right? Some perspectives from all across the board when it comes to manufacturers, other distributors, and the pool pros alike. I just want to say thank you. You guys have been a huge leader in that in the last couple years, and you've made a huge positive change on us and the perspective that a lot of pool pros has in there, because it makes them feel like they matter. It's always been the most important people in the industry were always the biggest pool companies, right? Or the biggest builders who built the fanciest pools, who had 1,000 or 2,000 or 3,000 accounts. And it felt like the service professional or the service pro, or especially the one poolers, were the ones out there who needed the most help, that got the least amount of support, or at least the recognition, or didn't feel welcomed. And you guys have helped change that, right? By understanding that there is an equal importance to all levels in our industry. And it's not that the builder is more important than the service provider, or the service provider is more important than the builder, or the distributor is more important than the vendor or the manufacturer, and vice versa. But we're all in this together, right? And we all play a very big role in this. And being on the service side of it, and then having that type of relationship, or being able to establish that type of relationship, or feeling like they belong or they mean something at Heritage or Pease or Texas Pool Supply and all the different places, in distribution, I've personally got to experience that and see others that also have. And it's a step in the right direction, and I'm looking forward to what you guys have to do and what you're going to be able to bring to the team with Heritage. So thank you so much, and thank you for taking the time to come out and doing this. We know you're a very important person, and it just speaks volumes for itself that you're willing to come out here and talk to us, who are directly talking to the pool pros that we talk about, knowing that it's important enough to have this conversation and to let people know who you are, what you believe in, and that what you plan on doing and what people can expect from Heritage as a whole moving forward, now that you're at the helm and that you're leading it. So
thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the one just comment to that is 80% of the industry's revenue is generated by the pool, by the service aftermarket.
Yeah.
And they're the ones that have not been looked at or paid attention. You articulated it well. So I think the industry needs to, it's a harder group of customers to get, because it's a lot. I call it the army of 100,000 plus. So I think it's super important that we lean in and make sure that the service pros are taken care of.
We're going to spill some of that tea in the next couple of weeks.
We are
too, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, we got some. We like to spill tea, so we got some big tea that's coming out. Any final thoughts?
Final thoughts. Again, I thank you for the opportunity to just lay out my belief. I think the pieces you mentioned myself as a leader, but it's really about the team. The reason why the customers feel better or are taken care of, feel like they've been taken care of, is the Heritage team out there, and I think that is key. When I say we're not playing for second best, you think about, if you're into sports, think about, there's not a team out there that's saying, hey, we don't want to win the Super Bowl. We want to be the runner-up.
We want to be number two.
We want to be number two. And that's an attitude. And you think about it, is that when you're building a team of people, if you have people that want to be number two, I don't know that you want them on the team, right? So it's practice. It's, you look at a great football team. No matter, I have a bad football team that I root for. I hope they're going to do this Sunday.
Which is?
Miami Dolphins. I'm sorry, people out there. Tungaloa is just, oh, please play well this weekend. But no, as my youngest son would be screaming at the TV. But you think about it, you're never playing for number two. And no matter where you serve in our industry, whether it's distribution, manufacturing, service, retail, building, play for number one. Think about every single day what you can do to do better. And that, no matter where you stack in the rankings, you're going to be a better company. And guess what? You might wake up one day and you are number one. Always play for number one. Never give up.
Absolutely.
So again, thank you. both for having me and giving me the opportunity.
Absolutely. I'll close up. I'll give my 2 cents here. And I've told this to the team there at Heritage before. I truly believe that Heritage coming into the industry, the way that they do business, the way that they give back, the way that they do all of that, I think they're a key player that made our industry open their eyes and shift. And whether it was other manufacturers or it was other distribution center, whatever it was, it made them look and stop, right? And they set a new standard for how to do business in the industry. We've fought about it all along, right? The pool pros have been left and not given the tools. And a lot of the conversations we had early were, we want the pool pros to be more professional. We want them to do better. But none of them were willing to put tools into helping those customers. And that's my biggest bitching thing. It's like, you want them to do better, but you're not doing anything.
Because it was too hard.
You want them.
It's heavy lifting.
You want
heavy
them,
lifting.
You
It
want
was
them
too
to sell
hard.
your products,
Yeah.
but you don't want them to be successful. And that's why the passion for us is really towards that pool pro, because we truly believe with the bottom of our hearts that if we help those pool pros be financially successful and be able to run those businesses, that's what's going to bring that professionalism that the industry needs.
And it's grassroots. It's not some magic college education. It's basically grassroots that we all start coalescing together to make our industry better. It's just competition elevates us all.
Yeah, 100%.
And it makes us better. Don't disparage competition. It makes you better.
Yep.
And always play for number one.
And we look at it too, and it's like people are like, oh, now these people are doing what you're doing. Great. It's just going to make us elevate
Makes
our
us
game.
better.
Always better,
makes us
right?
better.
But I truly believe that it took Heritage to come into the industry and, like you said, look at it different and go, this is not the way that we're going to do business. We're going to do business different. And it really started to create that shift in the industry.
And think about everything day in, day out. There's disruptors, and disruptors change the way people think because they didn't come from that background. A lot of times it was avancism, stinking thinking. It's the same definition of it, saying you're doing the same thing every day and nothing's changing. You've got to go the opposite direction. You got to think of things differently and work on your business, not in it. Make sure you can get away a little bit and spend some time figuring out, what can I do better? How can I be looked at in the customer's mind as special? They thought of me differently. So I think that's the key. It's simple stuff. It's just, it's hard to execute.
That's cute. Yeah. So I do want to say, and I'll say it just straight up, Dan, Matt, thank you for doing everything that you've done and for coming into the industry and for changing what it is that we do. You guys are definitely disruptors, but for the better of the industry. Just like John said, I want to thank you for coming on. I know that you're super, super busy, and you know it's very hard to just be able to pull you out for 2 days and put you in the photo shoot.
I'm trying to keep up all the young team that I've got with me that are smarter than me. So I'm learning fast. Bear with me.
So I appreciate you coming on. It's already been 2 hours. Everybody, we are going to let you go. Join me and John next Wednesday on the Instagram Live. We're most likely going to talk to some of the 30 under 40 nominees. And next podcast, we've got the new 3 coming on next week.
The new 3.
So that'll be a fun one.
Yes.
So I do apologize.
Talk about industry changing, disruptors, right? Innovation.
I do have to apologize. I made poor John fly out 2 weeks in a row. So,
No worries.
So he's going to.
I just don't want to be here when the ice is flying.
So anyways, everybody, hope you have a great weekend. We'll catch you next week. Spider, thank you so much. Take us out.
Thanks for listening to the Pool Nation podcast, a member of the Pool Nation family. You can listen to us live every Friday here at 9 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Central, and 12 noon Eastern Standard Time. You can find us at Pool Nation or poolnationpodcast.com, on Facebook, or on Instagram at pool.nation. And to find more info about Pool Invoice, the billing software built specifically for the pool industry, go to poolinvoice.com. Before you go, this is what the pool industry has been waiting for. PoolmanUniversity.com. It's the first platform dedicated to learning the swimming pool service and repair industry. A pool service community where you can connect and find videos on business, service, water chemistry, and repairs. See you there at PoolmanUniversity.com.